Welcome to episode 17 of Quadocast, entitled A Simple Mistake or The Britannia Bamboozle.
Bamboozled.
Britannia bungled their election last week on Tuesday, February 18th. Traditionally, for the last dozen years, mail-in paper ballots were delivered to a P.O. box. Britannia did not have an election last year because not enough candidates put their name in to run. The current board was not elected. This year, there are 11 candidates running for 5 spots. Traditionally, on the day of the election, there's a unit owner that has made the trips to the P.O. box to retrieve the paper ballots to bring back for the election. The morning of the election, the unit owner went to the office and there was a manager and a few board members, and were simply dumbfounded by the unit owner attempt to continue the tradition of the logistics of going to the P.O. box. Fast forward that evening at 7 p.m., Tuesday, February 18th, when one of the candidates asked, "Where are the ballot envelopes from the P.O. box?" And then there was bedlam. Now think about this. What if that candidate didn't ask? Were they going to actually conduct the election after having knowledge of the P.O. box in the morning? More troubling, the property manager the evening of the election made no claim that she changed the long-standing tradition and specified that the return ballots come to the tower address instead. If that were true, you'd think the manager would start realizing that there were no mail-in ballots being sent to the tower address at all when she checks daily mail. That didn't raise off a flag? What about all the unit owners who submitted their ballots in person in a lucite box that would show the P.O. box address on the envelope? That would also raise some kind of flag in advance. Instead, the only thing Britannia unit owners got besides a lousy t-shirt was an email blast the next day to try to explain things. The blast coming from the management office in conjunction with the board of directors. The main focus of the email blast is an obsession of who is to blame. Not only do they blame the printers, they go out of their way to say both the board and management are not responsible for the error. Both the board and management claim they put in a request for the return envelopes to be to the Britannia property address. Yet none of them could say it the night of the election. Further, in the morning after letter, it says after conducting an investigation this morning. How is an investigation even needed if you already knew? Oh, and look at this one-liner. We are pleased. Okay, first of all, that's the happy talk word. That is totally a Lewis word if I were to bet on it. We are pleased to inform you that the printers have acknowledged their mistake. Who would be pleased about that other than himself? Or the board of management? To sure, it certainly couldn't be anyone except the printers. I am certain the unit owners of Britannia would be pleased if any mistake was ever acknowledged by the board, because there's plenty. You might want to take a second look at that email blast from last week on Wednesday morning, because along with their message, they are trying and attempting to provide the proof for it. Now, hopefully their proof is just a simple mistake and they attached the wrong document. The first tip-off is the date of the proof, December 4th. This shows an email reply from the printer to the manager. It's an auto form reply. They put an order in on December 4th by going to the website, filling out an online form with the specification, all the things that needed to be printed up. But the problem is that printing was not for the election. It was for budget meeting in December. So when you see this line, community address for envelopes, as the Britannia address, that is simply the return address for the outgoing budget package that had to get mailed to everyone. Basically, it's the receipt of the job of the online order put in by the manager. It shows they wanted to get a printing of 203 items to send out to all unit owners, and it would include 6 pages, as you could see here. And finally, the last screenshot sent to me shows the rest of the online receipt from the printer with the instructions that the manager gave it. For instance, additional instructions says, please place documents in the following order. And it shows signed by the property, or rather it's misspelled, prop PT manager, for those peeing their pants at the absurdity of all this, or those possibly peeing their pants because they might not have the proof. Look at the last few lines, the attachments, the PDF files. That were the contents that was going out for the budget meeting mailing. Look at it, it's highlighted. Budget cover letter, budget meeting agenda, budget final draft. Oh, another typo, maintenance instead of maintenance. Got a typing problem in the office. Okay. Budget, okay? Nothing to do with election. But like the first part of the title of the video, it just might be a simple mistake, an honest mistake. So then what would the real proof look like? Well, it will look very similar to this, except it would be placed roughly, I'd say, mid-January. And instead of those attachments being budget this, budget that, it'll there'll be the candidate bio sheets being uploaded and sent to the printer. And one of those attachments better show the return envelope with the new updated address in it, or there better be additional or special instructions that set it. Because if you're relying just on the first community address listing, that is just for the mailing and has nothing to do with specifying where the return ballots go. That's going to be a specific attachment if they did it the same way. One more disturbing part about this is that it wasn't just an email blast, that it was reported that there was at least one unit owner who was in the office with the manager wanting to try to show this December 4th date as the proof. Hey, it's possible they were doing one thing with the printer that day. Maybe they got really way ahead of it 75 days before the election and thought that far ahead on this one issue. Maybe, but that's not in the proof they provided. Remember, this proof is an auto reply receipt from the result of using the forms on the website to submit the job in. And that job was submitted mid-January after the candidate bios were received by the office. That's when it would be specified whether it's going to the Britannia address or the P.O. box. Why on earth would the printer pull up a 2-year-old file? A small chance it could have happened. It could have been a special instruction to do exactly that, pull up the old file and use that print material and combine it with new material, meaning the current bios and ballot sheets. But it all hangs on that auto reply email in mid-January. And the attachments are going to tell you, because if there's an attachment for that ballot envelope return address and it was provided from Britannia from a 2-year-old file, then it wasn't the printer's fault. In fact, if you go to the printer online, savequickprinting.com, they have a link for condo mailing order form. And it's one of the most specific forms you'd ever seen. And it says it's designed for condos. And you could see it. It's the same information that was shown in that email receipt. Date, deadline date, community association name, community address for envelopes. There would be deceiving you. That is not the line that makes it okay for the ballot return addresses. That's not done there. That is the outermost thing of the package being sent. Gets into address, city, state. Look at this. Scrolling through their website, the zip code, the country, the community phone number, number of pages, quantity, exterior envelope. What do you want? 9x12, 6x9.5, a number 10 envelope, 5 pieces, none required. Look at this. Envelopes to be enclosed in the mailing packet. A ballot reply envelope, one-sided. You go out of your way to specify it. Proxy and voting certificate, secret ballot envelope. You could pick all these things, paper sizes. You could pick ink color, how it's binded, documents in order, affidavits, affixed labels. They've thought of everything because they've probably been doing this for a while. Mail merge. Look at all these choices, additional instructions. And then it says, look at the bottom, please upload the document files. It's what are providing them and how to print on that specific thing. It would be very interesting to see what the real proof is in this situation, because if it's not an honest mistake, it really is the Britannia Bamboozle.
Bamboozled.
And that would be just insult to injury and nothing short of sad if that were the case. And I truly hope for the sake of everyone it isn't. But unfortunately in this case, it is a material probability. Simply put, if they have the receipts, they have the proof, they'll just send out another email blast and attach the right return document from the printers. If they don't send you another blast and they ignore all of this, it only raises the probability of the bamboozle.
Bamboozled.
And on that note, I am wishing everyone a great week ahead.